Errol Spence than it is to figure out Terence Crawford. And for me, if I'm Manny Pacquiao and I'm looking for a fight that would kind of solidify my legacy, and I'm looking for a winnable fight, I'm looking more in Errol Spence's direction than I am in Terence Crawford's direction. You know what I'm saying? So now you got that Errol Spence is an easier fight. You got that Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao are both signed with Al Heyman. You got that Errol brings more money to the table. You know what I'm saying? He does. I don't think there's a lot of people that wouldn't admit that Errol would bring more money to the table. That would be a bigger fight for boxing than a fight with Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And then also you couple that with the fact that Errol gets equal to or as much recognition, or Manny gets equal to or as much recognition for beating Errol Spence as he would Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He gets equal to or the same amount of credit as he would for beating Terence Crawford. So it's like, why would you take a harder fight for the same amount of recognition and less money? It just never really made sense for me why Manny Pacquiao would choose to fight Terence Crawford over Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? It never really made sense for me. And I see why, because this was the play all along. The play was always to get Errol Spence and Terence Crawford in the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if Manny was intentionally being used to ruin certain fights. You know what I mean? And people knowing full well that Manny and Errol were going to fight this entire time. Look how quickly this fight got done. You know what I'm saying? Look how quickly this fight got done. And again, let's not talk about the fact that we didn't hear anything about any splits. We didn't hear anything about any of that bullshit that all you niggas like to talk about. Pay-per-view sales and all that shit. We didn't hear nothing about that, and the fight is done. You know. So, you know, I mean, I really feel like this was the play all along. I feel like Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao made a lot more sense than Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. I just do. You know, this sucks for Terence Crawford, but I feel like he got played a little bit. I feel like he was a pawn in Al Heyman's ultimate plan, which was to kind of waste his fucking time. You know? You know, dangle the carrot in front of his face. I feel like it was that kind of thing. You know, and then take that motherfucker away. I kind of feel like he was the dude holding the carrot with the stick. That's how I feel like this was with Al Heyman. You know? Why would Manny Pacquiao need $40 million to fight Terence Crawford, man? That none of that shit made sense. Why would he need $40 million to a guarantee of $40 million? We're not talking about $40 million. We're not talking about like that after pay-per-view sales, anything like that. We're talking about a guarantee of $40 million. Why would Manny Pacquiao need a guarantee of $40 million plus pay-per-view back in to fight Manny Pacquiao? I mean, to fight Terence Crawford. You know? Errol Spence, you know, is he getting that much? Is he getting a guarantee of $40 million to fight Errol Spence? I sincerely hope so, because if he's not, again, this will confirm my suspicions of this being the play the entire time. If he's not, this will confirm my suspicions of this being the play the entire time. Because why would you take anything less than $40 million to fight Errol Spence if it's as dangerous a fight as it is for Terence Crawford? You know what I'm saying? Why would you take a more or equal to dangerous fight for less money? If you needed $40 million in order to fight Terence Crawford, then you should need $40 million in order to fight Errol Spence. So is he getting $40 million to fight Errol Spence? These are the questions that we need answers to. you know. And again, it further confirms my suspicions that this was the play all along.